I'm going to show you my three-part method for practicing reading and writing skills at home with your children. This will make reading and writing skills practice more fun. Also, I'm going to share examples of how to do this and tell you how you can get your hands on my free resource, 45 Fun Ways to Strengthen Your Reading Skills. My name's Allison DeFrees, and you're watching Reading with Allison. I was a classroom teacher for dyslexics for many years, and year after year we saw the same pattern. We worked hard all year to support their reading and writing skills, and then they'd go off on summer break, they'd come back, and it was a struggle to get them back to the progress that had been made in the school year prior. It can feel tough and it can feel defeating when a student is away from the classroom for that long or away from that rigorous practice with their reading and writing skills, and it can also seem to deflate their confidence in school in general. So with this three-part method, I'm going to show you ways that you can support your child's confidence throughout a school break. At the time of this recording, spring break is coming up, and that would be a great time to start. And then after that, we've got summer break, and that's a big one. I'm going to talk about the three parts to the three-part method and explain them, as well as use examples from my free guide, 45 Fun Ways to Strengthen Your Reading Skills. So let's get started talking about these three areas of skills development to practice at home. This is for your child who is having a hard time with reading and writing skills. So the first area is reading. The second is writing. Most parents would have guessed those two. The third area is sharing. Sharing is super important and you do not want to overlook it. I'll talk more about that in just a minute. But for now, let's talk about reading. Research tells us that students who have a hard time with reading can experience reading regression over a school break. So we want to support their reading as much as we can while they're on a break from school. We also know the same thing about writing. Students who do not write or practice writing on a school break can experience some regression in that area as well. Not just in their skills such as organizing, idea generation, grammar, spelling, editing, and revising skills, but also in the muscles in their hands. It can be very hard and laborious to come back to writing after you've been away from it for a week or a couple months even. And when writing is laborious and painful in your hands, you don't really want to do it very much, and you don't feel good about your writing also. So writing is a big area that we want to support during school breaks. Another area we want to support is this area that I think might surprise some parents, and that's this area of sharing. Research tells us that students who are supported throughout school breaks tend to have more success in the following year, and sharing is a great way to do that. It cements the learning that the student has done and makes their reading and their writing seem worthwhile. So when we practice any skill, we want to take it to the final step, which is sharing. Think about it this way. When your child is at school and does a science project, perhaps there's a science fair where the student shares their science fair project with their classmates or with the school. Another example could be a book report. Your child reads a book, they write a report, and they share that report with their classmates. When we share our skills, it cements our learning in our brain, and it helps us develop a little bit more confidence. When your child can practice sharing with you or with other loving, caring adults, they can feel stronger in this area of sharing when they are with new adults, such as a new teacher. So let me show you some examples that I've created for you in my free download that you should get at the link below or www.allisondefrees.com/45. These ideas are ways to take this three-part method and incorporate it with your family in a way that feels right to you. So the first thing I want to share is a popular spring break activity for families or summer break activity for families, and that is to go to a cultural site. I'm thinking a zoo, a museum, the aquarium. When you go to those places, it naturally encourages more reading in your child because those places are so stimulating and really attract our curiosity in special ways. So when you go to that place, your child is experiencing reading opportunities. Now, they may not read the whole placard or every placard, and that's okay. They're developing their reading skills. So the first part to this idea would be going to the cultural site and reading as much as you can while you're there. The second part would be to take a journal and ask your child to fill in one fact for every exhibit that you spend some time at. So if you're at the zoo and you are visiting the elephants, have your child write down a fact in their journal that they learned while visiting the elephants. Think of it like a scientist with their field guide or a historian with their journal. So that's reading and writing. Now, the final part to this 3-part method is sharing. You can have your child share what they wrote in a sharing circle, maybe over lunch, maybe in the car back as you drive back home, or perhaps over dinner, but somehow they want to be reading what they wrote. That's the key. Read what they wrote. Okay, here's another idea. I love this one for kids because it's right up their interest alley. They should read the directions for a complex toy or a build kit. If they are making something, if they are interested in it, if it's a toy they love, then they can be reading the directions for it. Reading is reading. It doesn't matter if it's in the directions, if it's picture directions or full sentence directions. It's still great practice. So that's how to incorporate reading. Another thing to do would be to take it a step further with your writing and to write a toy review in their journal about this toy or this build kit they did. What did they like about it? How do they plan to use it? Did they find it easy to assemble? Do they think that there could be any improvements made on the toy? So that's the writing component. The sharing component, if you want, other than reading their review to you, you could actually help them type a review on the website where the toy was purchased or for the store that the toy was purchased from. Maybe even type an email to the customer service department of the company that made the toy. This is a great way to practice kindness and online kindness too. All right, another idea here is to complete a reading skills workbook or a worksheet packet like the ones that I create. These often have reading and writing tied into them, and the sharing component comes when it's completed. It's a time to celebrate. It's like finishing a big project. So definitely check out those from our website and share as a family when that's completed. Here's an honorable mention. Use understood.org's fun summer reading bingo game. So understood.org has a reading bingo game, super fun. And then the writing component to that would be maybe they make their own bingo. Your child can write a bingo game for reading after they've finished understood.org's reading game. Oh, and by the way, I'll link that down below. And then the third part, sharing, could be maybe they receive a prize if the bingo game is completed. Okay, and here's the last activity that I'll share for you today. This is to have your child act in a kid-created movie or play. That's the reading part. They're reading and speaking and acting in the way that makes sense for them and their bodies. 2, they could be writing the script for the play or the movie. And 3, they could share this kind of publicly if you had a screening or a play performance. They could invite their parents. They could invite maybe other family members who are nearby, and perhaps they have other adults that they look up to or other friends that they'd like to come over and watch the movie or the play that they've created. Another way to tie writing into this idea is to write the invitations for your movie screening or for your play performance. So I hope this 3-part method is helpful for you. Remember that it's not just reading and writing to practice, it's also cementing that learning with sharing. I want you to go to my website by clicking the link below to get my free guide, 45 fun ways to strengthen reading skills. And thank you for watching. Happy reading!